Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, today I want to talk about the January transfer window. Yes, even though the summer window only closed in October, clubs are going to get another chance to bolster their squad, either to give them an edge in the title race or potentially guide them towards survival. January is a hard window to buy in, even more so this year with everything that's gone on in the past 12 months. But that's not going to stop me fantasising about who each Premier League club should buy this winter. I mean, I'm fairly confident 99% of these transfers won't happen, but when has that ever stopped us at HITC? So with my unique transfer formula that blends current form, the latest paper talk, and just my personal opinion about who I think could do well at each Premier League club, here it is. Here's who your club should sign this January. But before we start, quick bit of promo. If you like Football Manager and FIFA, then please check out our gaming channel Expo. I'll pop a link in the description below. I've got some good stuff going up there over the Christmas period, if I do say so myself, and some new subscribers would be bloody lovely. Anyway, Arsenal, HUDSON-ODOI. Right, they failed to sign him in the summer, and Arsenal need to rectify that and get the deal done this winter. Earlier in the year there were two deals that Arsenal were desperate to do, but Thomas Partey was the only one they got, leaving Aouar to continue living it up in the Farmers League. The league that went further in the Champions League over the summer, whatever. Aouar has continued to score and create for Lyon despite his transfer collapse, and he's still the kind of player the Gunners need. I mean, Mikel Arteta needs a lot of things right now. He's got so many problems he thinks he's Jay-Z. Arsenal have had a rotten end to the year, lingering near the relegation zone than ever before. Yet they continue to do the same thing over and over again, pass it slowly, put an aimless cross into the box, Aubameyang pulls a sad face, then someone gets sent off for something ridiculous. While Aouar might not be able to get rid of the ill discipline, he can certainly create more chances through the middle for Arsenal, in the same way that Samir Nasri did all those years ago. They need a creative midfielder more than anything, and have to revisit the HUDSON-ODOI pursuit. Aston Villa, Dele Alli. Right, this is an ambitious one, but just hear me out, okay? No matter what happens in January, Dele Alli needs to leave Tottenham. Jose Mourinho's got no interest in playing him, which is mad when you consider how good he was at the start of Mourinho's tenure. But Tottenham are thriving without Alli, who instead is having to chill on the bench, twiddle his moustache, think about playing Call of Duty or whatever it is he plays, and then maybe run around for a couple of minutes at the end of the game. So he needs to move, and maybe a loan to the Villa might not be a bad idea. I mean, just look what it's done for Ross Barkley's career. Alli is a top goal scoring midfielder in the Premier League. He's got that time and run that made Frank Lampard so special all those years ago. Sure, the past few years have been tough for him, but we can't ignore what he did at the start of his Tottenham career, where he hit a career best 18 Premier League goals in one season. Villa could be the ideal place for Alli. There's good attacking players there like Jack Grealish, they try and play decent football, and there'll be no grumpy Mourinho begging him to hold his position as Spurs cling on to another 1-0 lead. Brighton, ARMSTRONG. The Seagulls are struggling for goals, it's as simple as that. After a bright start from Neil Maupay, he's chilled out a bit, with Brighton in a relegation battle despite being so easy on the eye. Looking down at the Championship might not be a bad idea though, as Adam Armstrong is a forward they should try and pick up. The former Newcastle lad has really kick-started his career at Blackburn and seems destined for another shot in the Premier League. He's quick and nimble like Aaron Connolly, but he's much more ruthless, which could make him a good option for Graham Potter and co. Burnley, OSAYI-SAMUEL. Burnley have to do some business in January, as their squad's about as deflated as the Gunnosaurus Rex was when he was told he wouldn't be needed at Arsenal anymore. The Clarets need some extra options out wide, and QPR's OSAYI-SAMUEL would add some much needed flair to Sean Dyche's hard work inside. They're willing to over the summer and should definitely revisit this one. Chelsea, Ben White. All Chelsea did this summer was spend money, with Frank Lampard improving his squad from back to front. He even improved the Chelsea loan 11 by bringing Malang Sarr and immediately sending the poor bug to Porto. He was only there 5 minutes, then he was bundled onto a plane to Portugal and put in a WhatsApp group with a bunch of desperate souls talking about the latest obscure players Chelsea have sent them. As I say, the Blues improved all over the pitch, including its centre-back with the legendary Thiago Silva. The Brazilian's been excellent, but that isn't going to last forever. He's 36 years old. If he stays at Stamford Bridge any longer, he'll get himself a free bus pass. So maybe Chelsea should look to the future in January, which brings us to Ben White. The youngster's impressed at Brighton and seems like he's destined for bigger things. That's why big clubs including Chelsea have been linked by the press. He's strong in possession, which is what Chelsea want, and he can read the game too, meaning he could go on to become the main man at Stamford Bridge when Thiago Silva eventually calls it quits. Crystal Palace, Phil Jones. Roy Hodgson's sides have got a lot of fitness issues at the back, with usual centre midfielder Checo Kouyaté having to fill in there. And who's a centre back who'll definitely be available in January? Good old Phil Jones. Come on Palace, do us all a favour. I miss seeing that glorious man pull a weird face. Yeah, I didn't know who to pick for Palace to be honest with you. Sorry lads, let's move on. Everton, Isco. This would be an ambitious signing to be honest with you. It would make the James Rodriguez deal look tame in comparison. But Everton have been ambitious in the past year, starting with the appointment of Carlo Ancelotti. The Italian has managed the biggest clubs in the world, so it's no wonder big players want to play for him, and I'm sure Isco would be no different. That's what the papers say anyway, who believe Ancelotti is keen on being reunited with the intricate Spaniard. At this rate, he's just going to recreate the Real Madrid team that got him the sack in 2015. But Isco would be a game changer in midfield and take the creative pressure off of James Rodriguez. Ancelotti changed the whole midfield this summer, but Everton have struggled when they've had to rotate, meaning they need even more strength and depth if they're going to match Ancelotti's ambitions of climbing the table and eventually qualifying for Europe. Fulham's SARDAR AZMOUN. To put it bluntly, Fulham need goals. I don't know what's happened to Alexander Mitrovic, but it's just not happening for him this season. One man who does know where the back of the net is SARDAR AZMOUN, the man dubbed the Iranian Messi, which should also be a bit of a red flag to be honest with you. Anyone dubbed the country's own Messi is normally never as good as anticipated. But the Zenit striker is scoring goal after goal in Russia and could be able to convert some of the chances Scott Parker's side are creating and help move them away from the relegation zone. Leeds PAPU Gomez. Leeds have turned heads this season with their creative passing and intensity, but a lot of the time the performances haven't matched the results. We've seen Bielsa's side batter teams only end up going home with no points. Parag Bamford's been excellent up top, but he can't score all the goals, so he needs a bit of help from his teammates. Leeds probably don't get enough goals from midfield, which is why the availability of PAPU Gomez should catch their attention. The Atalanta talisman is set to leave the club this winter after a bust-up with a manager, and he's the kind of player who would suit Leeds perfectly. Whether he's up top, in midfield or out wide, Gomez can be a genius in possession and the kind of player Bielsa would no doubt love. In turn, Gomez would probably jump at the chance to work with the bucket-sitting boss. Leicester City Hudson-ODOI. Right, one day Jamie Vardy isn't going to be as good as he used to be. While he's still showing no signs of slowing down, he's 34 in January, and Leicester maybe need to add another striker to help ease the pressure, especially with European football like it's set to become the norm at the King Power. So Brendan Rodgers should look to his former club and bring in Hudson-ODOI. He'll have just 18 months to run his contract up north, and he's a striker who just seems suited to the Premier League. He's classy in front of goal, and Leicester would be the perfect place for Edouard to continue his career, unless of course he's hanging around to see if the Hoops can save their season and make it 10 in a row. Liverpool OZAN KABAK. It's obvious what Liverpool need in January, a centre-back. While they've coped so far without Van Dijk and Joe Gomez, they need to bring someone in, even if it isn't a household name. They need a youngster who can continue to develop under Klopp, which is why they've been heavily linked with Schalke's Ozan Kabak. The young Turkish centre-back is one to watch in the coming years, and is shining light at the Schalke team that's on the decline. While Liverpool fans might want someone like Koulibaly or UPAMECANO, a more low-key rival of someone like Kabak seems a lot more likely. Manchester City Erling Haaland. Right, this transfer is 100% not going to happen, but imagine if it did. The striker situation at Manchester City is an issue right now. Sergio Aguero's aging legs seem to be made of gingerbread nowadays, while Gabriel Jesus just isn't as good unfortunately. That's not a bad thing, Aguero is one of the best the Premier League's ever seen. But City are going to need to look elsewhere for their Aguero replacement, which is where Erling Haaland comes into it. The Norwegian goal machine is one of the best strikers in the world despite his tender age, and I actually can't believe he's only been at Dortmund for a year. But he's not going to stay there forever. As fun as Dortmund are, they don't win enough trophies, and they always sell off their top young players. I mean, they've already got his replacement in Moukoko. It wouldn't be surprised if they've got his replacement too. There'll be a big scrap when Haaland decides to leave, and Man City should jump the gun and get it done in January, because to be honest, they need an injection or something. Not enough's being said about their conflicting form. Manchester United Dayot UPAMECANO. Plain and simple, Man United need a centre-back. Sure, they didn't get Jadon Sancho over the summer and that was a blow, but it's defence where the real problems lie, with Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof getting caught out time after time, which eventually led to their Champions League exit. That exit may stop them from signing UPAMECANO, but when you look at the centre-backs across Europe, this is the guy they need. They thought Harry Maguire would be the man to change the defensive fortunes, but if anything, he's made things a million times worse. Man United need a leader at the back, someone who can play it out from defence, someone who's a bit more mobile than a static fridge and doesn't run like he's dragging the number 52 bus with him. Newcastle United Harry Winks. Just like Dele Alli, Harry Winks is another Tottenham player who's felt the wrath of Jose Mourinho. With his shithouse midfield duo of Sissoko and Højbjerg, there's no room for nice little Harry Winks, who for all his neat passes isn't gunning for blood like those two are. Winks needs a move in January, and Newcastle might be a decent destination. Winks moves the ball nicely to control possession, which is exactly what Newcastle can't do. Seriously, every time they get the ball it's like a hot potato or a ticking time bomb. It's either going to be pumped long or gifted back to the opposition. Newcastle needs someone who can dictate from the middle and actually pass a ball, so Harry Winks could be a good option on loan. Sheffield United Dean Henderson. You can relate all of Sheffield United's problems back to Dean Henderson leaving. It's simple, but I'm going with it. The foundations of their success last season were a strong defence, and when that didn't work, Dean Henderson bailed them out. Well, now Sheffield United's defence is about as strong as a rich tea biscuit in a cup of tea, while Dean Henderson's seat on the Man United bench is sore, he's got Burnley on his backside. Ramsdale hasn't filled the void left by Henderson, and while they've also been hindered by Jack O'Connor's injury, they should definitely look to bring Henderson home for a third loan spell. Southampton, CALLUM, HUDSON-ODOI. Southampton have been one of the success stories of the season so far, but they could definitely do with some extra depth out wide. And one lad who needs minutes is Callum Hudson-Odoi. While Chelsea have said they won't even consider loaning him out, Hudson-Odoi needs to get them to reconsider. He can't be happy with how little football he's played, and he probably had ambitions of going to the Euros once upon a time. That won't happen if he stays at Chelsea, but Southampton with their high-octane brand of football could certainly help out the young winger, who has yet to capitalise on the early promise he's shown. Tottenham, DENIS ZAKARIA. He's been linked with the two Manchester clubs and Chelsea, but I think Spurs also need to enter the conversation for DENIS ZAKARIA. As I mentioned before, they've got the no-nonsense duo of Sissoko and Højbjerg sitting in front of the defence, two men who eat yellow cards for breakfast, no doubt under the watchful eye of Jose Mourinho. But they haven't got that much depth there in terms of players who can do a similar job, so DENIS ZAKARIA should be on their radar. In fact, he'd be an upgrade. ZAKARIA can do the dirty side of the game, but he's also box to box and can pick a pass, which would suit Mourinho's counter-attacking style perfectly. West Brom, MAROUANE, FELLAINI. He just screams Sam Allardyce, doesn't he? Compact, dirty and direct. That's how Big Sam will try and guide West Brom to safety, but he needs more goals if he's going to do it, and getting MAROUANE FELLAINI on the first flight out of China might not be a bad idea. There's a new FELLAINI in town with Thomas Souček at West Ham, but maybe it's time for the bushy-haired Belgian to come back and reclaim his throne, although he hasn't even got the afro anymore, which kind of takes away some of the magic. West Ham, James Tarkowski. They tried and failed to sign him in the summer, but with Burnley struggling and Tarkowski refusing to sign a new deal, I think it's likely that the Hammers will revisit their interest in the England defender. It would definitely be a good move. For all that West Ham have been decent and surprised us all this season, they're still a top defender shy, and Burnley can just easily sign a replacement when they get their new flashy owners. Wolves, Andre Silva. As always, we end with Wolves, and it's no surprise I think they need a new striker. We've got no idea when Raul Jimenez will be back after suffering a fractured skull against Arsenal, but they need to bring in someone to help fill the void. Fabio Silva's tried and he'll be a star in the future, but Wolves need someone who's ready now, and what better than another George Mendes client? I mean, it just makes things easier, doesn't it? Silva's long been linked with a move to Molineux, and he's now scoring a fair few goals in the Bundesliga for Frankfurt, seemingly over his AC Milan nightmare. It seems inevitable that Wolves will add another Mendes client, but the options are a bit limited. Silva's probably the best they can get, unless of course Ronaldo fancies swapping Turin for the Midlands, although he probably thinks Wolves are still a naff team in orange who used to be sponsored by Doritos. So there we have it, that's one player I think every Premier League club should sign this January. A lot of them are very fantasy, I know, but thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HUDSON-ODOI Sport, and until next time we will see you around.